Soon after Bob Iger presents a reason for shareholders to continue to vote for the current board, Nelson Peltz actually puts out a response. So welcome back to Views with Hughes, Jiffy News. This is Jerome Hughes. Today's top story, Nelson Peltz response with Restore the Magic letter pinned to shareholders, going ahead and had them to share with them that, well, there's no confidence in the current Disney board. Now it's time for replacement. So let me know your thoughts about that in the comments below. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification, so that way you'll be notified of future uploads and updates. So right here, I got the letter of Restore the Magic from Trian from Nelson Peltz and Jay Rizzullo. Okay. And it's sent out here, dated, and it was created dated February 1st, and it's sent out to the different shareholders. So I'll be reading it as well as discussing it. It says here, dear fellow Walt Disney Company shareholder, the Trian Group owns more than $3 billion of shares of the Walt Disney Company. First and foremost, I've already known this, and I still can't believe it. Okay, so as I've stated before, Peltz, the Trian Group and Peltz are still stepping it up a notch. Okay, making the proxy fight even bigger than we anticipated. So, like you, we are enthusiastic owners of this iconic company because we believe Disney is the leading media and entertainment business with outstanding assets like franchises like Star Wars and Marvel, and Disney and Pixar animation studios, which produce some of the greatest films of all time, like Toy Story, for example. Theme parks and cruise lines that attract millions of people from around the world each year, and Disney Plus, an emerging streaming giant with a library of invaluable content. Okay, enviable content. Now, Disney occupies a unique place in the hearts of millions of people with this deep history of captivating stories like the creating unforgettable experiences. Now, he's setting the page here, like reminding people how good Disney is before he shares his intentions. Let's go ahead and continue with the letter. Now, despite Disney's enviable and unique position in media and entertainment, its stock price is half what it was less than 3 years ago, and Disney shareholders like you and us have collectively lost nearly $200 billion of our investment in that time. That is true, because like it didn't make sense that under Bob Iger that you know, the Disney faltered like the way it did. Yes, people blaming Bob Chapek and stuff, but who was looking over on Chapek? Bob Iger. Chapek was only CEO in name only. Bob Iger was still calling the shots behind the scenes. Okay, so that's all that was happening at the time, and you know, it's like he had his foot on Chapek's neck. The board had their foot on Chapek's neck as well, and Chapek couldn't really do much. Okay, so by the closing of Friday, you know, the stock price of Disney is at like around $97 and everything. If not, if it didn't reach up, because the market's closed is Sunday, of course. But the fact of the matter is, Disney was at a better spot than it was right now, like about 3 years ago. Okay. Now, continuing with the letter, Disney's recent creative efforts have disappointed its once loyal customer base and have caused losses for shareholders. Disney was forced to cut its dividend and only recently restored it. Meanwhile, shareholders missed out on more than $12 billion in expected distributions between 2020 and 2023. I'm not a shareholder, but if Nelson Peltz actually is going to take the fight against Disney, then he may convince me to go ahead and buy a few shares of Disney itself. Okay. And, you know, it's like, you know, it's crazy because of the simple fact that you have like a man who is an activist investor that's actually cares about what the people want. Okay. He knows that the shareholders are people out there who are fans, who are customers. You know, and he's actually speaking to people, treating customers with respect. Okay, so moving along. Disney stock is down over the last 1, 3, and 5 years. In fact, over those time periods, Disney's total shareholder return, or TSR, has significantly underperformed the stocks of other media and entertainment companies, despite Disney's superior assets, capabilities, and businesses. Disney's total shareholder return, or TSR, has underperformed the S&P 500 by a wide margin over each of those time periods too. 1 year ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, You would have been far better served investing in an index fund like the S&P 500 or in a basket of Disney's self-selected peers than Disney itself. He's talking about Bob Iger, who chose his own people on to be part of the Disney board. Instead, you like us have been caught in the Disney mousetrap. With so many powerful competitive advantages, why has Disney cost shareholders so much? Let's go ahead and dive into that. The simple answer, Disney has lost its way. He's saying the very thing that the customers, fans have been saying over the past few years. Okay? Ever since, I guarantee it was ever since The Last Jedi was released in theaters, when fans of Disney has been saying that. Also, at the start of Marvel's Phase 4, after Avengers Endgame, after Spider-Man, No Way Home, that's when they realized, Disney's actually lost its way. The company's creative engine has stalled, and it says here for the first time in nearly a decade, Disney has lost its position as the highest grossing movie studio. Disney's last 5 films have collectively cost over $1 billion to produce, and basically he's going into detail stating that, it didn't really make back that amount of money or even more. Because it goes on to say, and yet those 2 films have lost money and another barely eked out of profit. Disney's reputation as the world's preeminent entertainment company and the flywheel that drives its business is at risk. Okay, so it also talks about Disney Plus being poorly managed, as well as ESPN is being challenged and lacks a clear strategy. Okay, he says here Disney Plus says since the service was launched in 2019, Disney Plus has failed to achieve profitability in the fiscal year, while Netflix, basically he's stating that Netflix beating them out and everything is generating attractive profits, margins, and cash flow from its streaming service, and Disney Plus hasn't been successful. Okay. He says Disney Plus has been elusive, and today Netflix generates approximately 21 cents of profit for every dollar in revenue. In its 2023 fiscal year, Disney lost approximately 14 cents for every dollar of streaming revenue. In total, the streaming businesses have cost the company more than $14 billion in operating losses over the last 6 years. No wonder this dude is upset. No wonder the shareholders are also upset. And about ESPN, lacking a clear strategy, says that the brand is one of the most respected brands in sports media, but the once lucrative business has suffered as cord cutting has accelerated and sports rights costs have dramatically increased. And ESPN has continued to shed subscribers and investments into the direct-to-consumer app appear to lack clear return targets, and payback is uncertain. Also, to finish that part, operating income for Disney Sports segment, which includes ESPN, dramatically declined in 2023. Okay, so over here, operating income, fiscal year 2018 was at $16 billion, and it dropped down to $13 billion by 2023 of last year, where they lost 18%. Free cash flow, 50%, where they were at $10 billion in 2018 fiscal year, $5 billion in fiscal year 2023. Earnings per share, $8.36 back in 2018, down to $1.29, which is an 85% drop. Dang. Now let's be fair. It says here that despite spending $200 billion since 2018 on assets and acquisitions such as the purchase of 20th Century Fox, Disney's financial performance have suffered. Operating income, free cash flow, and earnings per share have declined by 18%, 50%, and 85% respectively since 2018. Now, this is actually sad because of the fact that, Disney was unbeaten. Okay? It was undefeated. All right? Since I want to say since the 90s or so, and then going into the late 2010s and up to now, it's been failing. Okay, it's been failing, and also talk about here at the parks and stuff with prices going up, and even as investment has been deferred. It says here Disney's parks have long been a crown jewel of the company and remain important an important part of its future. But even though emission prices have increased by more than 35% over the last years, Disney recently revealed the need to invest a whopping $60 billion into its parks and cruise lines over the next 10 years, seemingly to catch up for delayed or deferred investment. Now, all of this wouldn't have happened if Bob Iger didn't make the decision to actually inject political assertiveness as well as political biases into content, theme parks, elements, so on and so forth. Okay. And Disney has failed to answer how it plans to compete with Universal's new attractions. And that's true, because each of its like shareholder meetings as well as investment calls, Bob Iger didn't share or mention what the plan would be to compete against Universal to beat it and everything. And Universal is still winning. He even goes into detail about the fact that there's a lack of focus, lack of accountability, and a lack of alignment. I reported on these things before. He's talking about these things before as well. Okay, a lot of YouTubers has been saying this for a long time by now. All right, lack of focus. Many of Disney's directors have important day jobs running some of the largest automobile, apparel, sporting goods, and software companies in the world. And they have demanding full-time work commitments and are likely waking up every day thinking about things other than Disney. That is true. And that it's not just the directors, but it's also the everyday people who are also shareholders going to their day jobs and stuff, looking to see how is it that this company is going to help them make money, but instead it's made them lose money. All right. Lack of accountability. Despite years of Disney underperformance and shareholder discontent that has been repeatedly expressed at Disney's annual shareholder meeting votes, the board continues to claim it knows best. That's a lie, refusing to heed input from shareholders or add shareholder selected directors to the board who can bring fresh perspectives to Disney's challenges. Bob Iger wants to continue making the moves, making the decisions. That's why he's been ignoring the different shareholders. He's been ignoring the customers. What makes you think that he's going to actually listen to the shareholders? Lack of alignment. Disney's non-management directors have amassed great personal wealth, having received in aggregate more than $700 million in compensation from their jobs at companies other than Disney during their 10 years on the Disney board. Yet, despite their significant resources and sizable investment portfolios, Disney's 11 non-management directors appear to have so little faith in Disney's future that they have purchased a total of less than $330,000 of Disney stock during their tenures. None of them have never bought a single share. Relative to their wealth, they have almost no skin in the game. Meanwhile, Disney CEO Bob Iger has sold nearly all of his Disney stock, reaping proceeds in cash of more than $1 billion today. He has left owning the comparatively few shares. So you mean to tell me, like, okay, Trian owns more shares of the Disney stock than Bob Iger himself, and he's the CEO. No wonder he's beating Bob Iger at his game, because he's just exposed Bob Iger in his letter. Simple as that. Also says here that Disney's 11 non-management directors appear to have so little faith in Disney's future. He's actually sharing that the non-management directors are losing faith in Bob Iger as well as Disney's board. Okay, and it's like people's losing money. And yet Bob Iger, as well as the board, keep giving out the same answers that, you know, they know best. They know what's best for the company itself. They know what's best for the shareholders. But at the same time, they're not listening to anybody. They don't care what anyone has to say. And look at this. Iger's stock ownership is only at about less than $19 million. Trian's group's beneficial ownership is at $3 billion, and it says here Trian Group is more aligned with Disney shareholders than the current directors. That's crazy. Aggregate non-management directors, less than $14 million. So why exactly are they making these moves? And at the same time, the Trian Group is actually has owned more than what they own. Simply put, because of the fact that there's other investment firms that's supporting Bob Iger as well as Disney board and Disney company itself. Okay, I'm not an investment manager or a financial director and everything, and I'm not giving out any financial advice, but I'm just calling it as I see it. Okay, I could be wrong. Let me know your thoughts about that in the comments below as well, where I might have went wrong. Now, it's true. They don't believe what the current board is actually doing, what they're doing to solve Disney's problems. And it says here, to restore the magic, we need new perspectives, fresh thinking, and tangible goals. That is true. Definitely true. We certainly do not expect this same board that has sat idle watching Disney's decline to suddenly change and have the drive to fix Disney. So, to ensure a better future for this great company, we, its owners, must act. Okay? So, gonna come down here to what's gonna happen if some people are elected and if other people who are currently on the board are withheld. Says here, if elected, Nelson Peltz and Jerry Rizzullo will seek to work diligently and collaboratively with the other Disney directors and management to initiate a board-led review of the company's creative processes and structure so that Disney can once again claim its number one position at the box office. Basically, make movies that's actually going to sell, bring more buzz into the movie theaters. And then it's going to insist that management finally develop and implement an executive plan for the streaming business. Then also have the leadership team commit to the detailed plan that includes a reasonable payback period and return profile. In other words, actually have proper management where more people can actually also make money. Press management to disclose the expected returns on the $60 billion of announced investments in the parks and experiences business, and also align pay and performance for the Disney company senior leaders by tying compensation to clear, measurable, and ambitious goals, and finally execute a successful CEO succession process while cultivating a deep bench of capable next generation leaders. So in other words, he's popping to get somebody to replace Bob Iger. And they're asking people to withhold their votes for the following people. On Michael B.G. Foreman, where he said, apart from his wife's long personal relationship with the wife of Disney CEO Bob Iger, it is unclear to us why Foreman, who has spent much of the past 25 years of his career as a financial executive, a federal trade representative, and a national security advisor, was appointed to the board. Interesting. I knew it. I knew they had somebody tied to the Biden or Obama cabinets and stuff on the board and stuff. Was appointed to the board. It appears that Disney is equally mystified by the company's own admission. Mr. Froman possesses just one skill that is central to the Disney strategy. Mr. Froman has never served on another public company board. He also does not appear to believe in Disney's future the way we all do. Throughout his tenure as a director, he has never bought even a single share of Disney stock with his own money. So why is it that you have somebody on the board that's never owned a piece of Disney stock? That's what I'm also wondering. Withhold on Maria Elena Lagomasino. Ms. Lagomasino has chaired Disney's compensation committee since 2019 and has been a member of that committee since 2015. During her tenure on the compensation committee, Ms. Lagomasino has overseen payments of over $800 million to Disney's executives, while shareholders have suffered, with Disney's stock losing nearly 20% of its value and your dividend being significantly reduced. Among other things, Ms. Lagomasino oversaw the awarding of a 4-year compensation package to CEO Bob Iger, valued at more than $250 million. That's $250 million right there, in connection with the value destructive, but board endorsed and unanimously approved 20th Century Fox acquisition. Furthermore, Ms. Lagomasino's background in wealth management appears unrelated to any of Disney's businesses, and like Mr. Froman, Ms. Lagomasino possesses just one skill that is central to Disney's strategy, according to Disney's own analysis. This is crazy. Like this is crazy. This is wow. And it goes into details out here, Trian's nominees and everything, showing how they actually have experience in media and entertainment compared to Michael Froman and Maria Lagomasino. None. Direct-to-consumer expertise, they have it. They don't. Technology and innovation, no one has that experience. Strategic transformation, Nelson Peltz, Jerry Rizzullo does, not Michael Froman. But all of them have one thing in common: 360-degree of brand activation. That's it. That's all that they're good for. Microform and Maria Lagomazino, I'm not a shareholder, at least not yet, but they need to go. It's simple. They really need to go. All right. But yeah, Nelson Peltz has actually made his case quite excellently. You know, and it's like the more Bob Iger says and stuff, just do what I do. Anticipate Nelson Peltz to actually respond. Okay, because Nelson Peltz does have a big response every time Bob Iger says something about him, as well as the Trian group. Bob Iger said that, you know, he's not good with the media. He doesn't know how to manage a board properly, so on and so forth. And Nelson Peltz goes ahead and exposes Iger, as well as members of the board and stuff, and people who he's trying to nominate as well. So, let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Also, be sure to include any additional thoughts. Let me know what went wrong in the video. Be sure to go ahead and click the bell notification on this video for this channel. Let me know your thoughts about this. Do you think Nelson Peltz is going to win, or do you think that Bob Iger is going to also have another response a few months from now? Because this upcoming week, there's going to be a shareholder call and stuff, and I'm going to be watching it. I'm going to also be on Lorena Creole's live stream that's going to be on Wednesday at 6 p.m. this time, okay? So let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel, click the notification, so that way you'll be notified of future uploads and updates. So then, peace.